giving you the real surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with your host, Skywalker Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Good morning, good people. Welcome to the Skywalker Morning Show. We're streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, welcome in, people. Welcome back, I should say. Gonna pick up this State of the Unit series. We're focusing on this wide receiver position. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna tell you why all y'all looking at it wrong. Yeah. Even me a little bit. And how this thing should be viewed. And if it is executed in this way, we're talking about a very dangerous wide receiver group, okay? So stick around for that, Cowboys Nation. What's good with your bomb squad? How you doing? It's been a while, man. You know what? I might have to switch that up, though, now that I think about it. I was doing the archery thing before Brandon Cooks got here, but, it just made so much sense when he came. Maybe we had to put the shiesty on. Yeah, maybe we put the shiesty on. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? But appreciate y'all for coming through. It's been a little bit since we went live. Me and 2i have been doing our Sky and 2i show. We've been dropping a lot of episodes the last 4 weeks or so. We'll be back next week. Took a little break there, and a lot of people, well, the Cowboys, I should say, are taking a break right now. Let me ask y'all, how are y'all doing in this treacherous time of the dead period? You got to be careful. Some of these players got to be careful. A lot of coaches, GMs say this is the most dangerous time in the offseason for the players. As for fans, we're just waiting, waiting for training camp, a couple weeks. How are y'all doing during this time in the dead period, man? AG said, I'm tired, boss. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Toxic said, who's going to get arrested for us this offseason? Any takers? I don't think, but the Cowboys have been pretty good, right? Like, the Cowboys have been doing pretty good in regards to the arrest the last few years. I could be wrong here, but it seems like after, what's old boy's name? Boss, I almost said Boss Cowboy. Shout out to Boss Cowboy. Boss Man Fat. We've been all right. Yeah, Sam. Sam got arrested last year. Damn, Sam. Come on, big dog. I was rooting for you, Sam. Shouts out to my guy, Mel, in the building. He said, enjoyed the NBA playoffs. I did. I know a lot of people said, two small market teams, won 7 games. I hate what happened to Halliburton. But I think, won 7 games. That was an entertaining series, nonetheless. Sin City said he bored. Iceberg said someone broke into CD's car. Yeah, all right, man, look. Here's what we're going to do today. Today, I'm jumping straight into this wide receiver talk. We've been talking about this position for a while. Really, since the season ended, right? We went into the draft begging to get somebody to help CeeDee Lamb. We came out of the draft begging for somebody to help CeeDee Lamb. Damn it, we did it. We did it. And, I think the addition of George Pickens, and I've been thinking about this for so long, and, I've been talking about it now for the last few weeks. The addition of George Pickens has put everything in order, right? There were so many questions prior to Pickens. Things just seemed so jumbled. We're arguing about wide receiver 3s having to be 2s, and then they bring in Pickens, and in my opinion, everything just seems to have fallen in place. And I know some people might be looking at this title and saying, Sky, you're doing too much. Monstrous, how? This is the room, yada, yada, yada. Hear me out. Stick around for the whole show. Hear me out at the end. I like to tie it into things. And I truly do believe if it is implemented in this way, this room doesn't just go from being good with the top two guys, but being really damn good for the whole entire room. Now, I want to say something.
You know what? I'm about to say it.
I'm about to say it. The Cowboys have the best wide receiver room in the NFCs. There's sometimes there's Eagle fans up in here. Sometimes they come through and they get all upset and they get mad. I don't know if there's Washington fans in here. I don't know. Giant fans, we don't care. But I get it. The defending champions are over there. 2 top wide receivers. I get it. The Washington football people, they went out and got Fat Debo. I shouldn't say that. They went out and they got Husky Debo. I shouldn't say that either. They went out and they got wide receiver running back 1/2 and Debo Samuels. But the way I'm going to try to implement this wide receiver room, you'll see why I believe it's the best in the NFC East. I already think it has the best 1-2 punch, whatever, Philly. But the whole room. Big Debo. There we go. We'll call it Big Debo. He husky, man. He husky. I saw that video. He not finna shake nobody. That's tight end 1 Debo. But hey, that ain't my problem. We don't have those problems in this wide receiver room. But like we do, Cowboys Nation, for our State of the Unit series, we like to take a look at the entire room. So we're going to work backwards as we always do. And this group that I'm going to start off with, I always do that, my bad. This group I'm going to start off with, I'm kind of dubbing it the wide receiver 6 battle. I'm still not sold. Y'all could talk to me about it. By the way, obviously, you guys can call in 351-999-3787 is a call-in line. We'll talk all throughout the show. I'm still not sold that they'll keep 6. I just don't know with the room, the DE room being so deep. I think they have a deep enough room as safety. I think they want to keep some linebackers around. I'm talking about the defensive side. Offensive side, they could go short here and there, but something just tells me we might not go 6. However, if we do, the wide receiver 6 battle, I think, will come down to these guys. Now, with all due respect to the Jalen Moreno Croppers of the world, the Harmons of the world, the Josh Kellys, I did not include these guys here. I don't think they will factor into this thing. That's not saying that they may not make the practice squad or get picked up by another team or have a good preseason or camp or anything like that. I just don't think they'd have to be spectacular. They have to be spectacular, I think, to make the roster. So I do think it'll come down to these 4 guys, Cowboys Nation. Now, you might be like, Scott, you got Paris Campbell up there, man. That dude's a camp body. That may be true. He comes in as one of the most seasoned vets in this room. He's 27 years old. He has 6 seasons under his belt. But the problem with Campbell is that he only has 1 season of real production. 1 season. I think it was 2022, the year he was with the Colts. I remember that year because we played them. And doing the film study leading up, I was like, all right, Paris Campbell doing all right. I think it was Matt Ryan's last year. Then we proceeded to whoop that ass, at the crib. Dropped 54 on. Now, he does have a Super Bowl ring, unfortunately, with the Eagles. They picked him up last year. He didn't play. He only had 6 receptions, 1 touchdown, but he does walk away with the Super Bowl ring. So he'll be able to, in his post-career, talk about all of that and what he saw. It's unfortunate for Campbell, though, because as a 2nd-round pick, he was supposed to come in here and be a guy at Ohio State, right? And be a guy. There's another guy like that on this team, but different parts of their career. When you look at Campbell, he has 1 season over 162 yards, man. That's That's why I'm not looking at Campbell with any high expectations. History shows that he's just not going to be a guy that really look. He can look. I'm not saying he won't compete and push these guys or whatever. The odds of him really making this team just seems to be very slim. But I'm not going to completely rule him out. That's why I included him in this wide receiver 6 battle, because he is the veteran in this room, right? Amongst these guys, you're talking about an undrafted free agent rookie, a 7th round pick, only 3 years in the league, and a 6th round pick who's only been here for 2 years, one offseason and going into a second offseason, right? But he is a veteran. He does possess 4.3 speed, right? Coming out of college, a 4.3 guy. And I think he could be a guy that helps challenge these young guys. When I say young guys, I mean corners, right? I think he can help challenge these young corners at camp. Not necessarily preseason, but the practices at camp, the competition should be good. Because now you don't have Simi Fehoko going up against the Young Bucks. You don't have Vasher going up against these guys. You got a guy that's been around, 6 years in, has some speed to him, some quickness to him, some pop. So I think his best contributions will come in camp for these young corners. We'll see if that makes any difference, but let me know if I'm off here, Cowboys Nation. This is all, again, all due respect to all these players, man, make it to the league or whatever. I just don't see Campbell. I don't have any expectations for Campbell during the season. I think my expectations for him stop right there at camp. I think he could be good for these young corners. I don't think there's another guy that really runs that fast at the bottom of this roster. I mean, you could just go back and we can go look at the wide receiver 6 battle I'm talking about. I don't think Cropper runs a 4.3. Do we still have Harmon? I keep throwing that man's name around. My bad. Yes, we do. We still have Harmon. I want to say Harmon's actually older. I don't think Josh Kelly's a 4.3 guy. Holden's not. So, he presents speed. He presents speed. Moving on from Paris Campbell. This is where it gets the competition to me really heats up. Starting with Tayan Holden. One of the more compelling undrafted free agent signings for the Cowboys. A talented receiver, right? Obviously talented enough to be a 4-star recruit and go to Alabama. But he didn't get drafted, and the Cowboys didn't give him top dollar. In fact, they didn't even give him a guaranteed contract. And that rose a lot of eyebrows when that happened because, he's a talented player. And I think a lot of people came out of the undrafted haul thinking, okay, Holden's going to be one of those guys that gets paid the most. And when that happens, the Cowboys usually lean towards trying to get them on the team. But when you go look at his collective career, it wasn't in college. It wasn't super productive, but that doesn't normally shy anybody away. But then there's that, the character concerns coming out. He was arrested in 2023. It was dismissed eventually, I believe, or he was dismissed from the team. But I think the charges were as well. He had the spitting incident against Ohio State, which is unfortunate because, he was balling in that game. I think he had like 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. He was having a good game. So I think those things will contribute or have contributed to him not getting the guaranteed money. Cropper ran a 4.4. Okay, so that's pretty fast. And I know, I hate to press this button, but I think it's the reality of the situation. Politics, we can't ignore. They do play a factor in team building sometimes. They do play a factor in who's on and off the field. That's just the reality of the situation. Tayan Holden does have an ace up his sleeve, and that's his wide receiver coach that has followed him, or I should say he's followed the coach, Junior Adams, to the Cowboys. His entire career, I believe, at Oregon, Junior Adams coached this young man, even during the dismiss period, etc. Holden does have a specific set of skills, right? He has size, 6'2", I think it goes like 205, right? So he's a bigger body. based off of what I saw, I think he looks comfortable in space. One of those guys that has a feel, finding soft spots. I think it was 2i who said this. Him and our backup quarterbacks have been clicking, right? And that could play big dividends in the postseason. But if Dak Prescott, like if he gets out there and we have a Dennis Houston type of situation, I'm not saying this man's Dennis Houston, but he gets comfortable with him, that's really going to play a major factor in this race right here. I venture to guess if you took a poll with fans, in fact, let's take a poll. And I ain't even finished going through all these guys, but I'm just curious how y'all feel about Tayan Holden. If you took a poll of all the fans and said, well, if it was between Flournoy, Brooks, and Holden for wide receiver 6, who would you take? I feel like a lot, or who do you believe will make the team? I feel like a lot of Cowboys fans would say Tayan Holden, man. I feel like a lot of fans would say Tayan Holden. And I feel you, Toxic. Toxic said this right here. He said, not gonna lie, watching him spit on another man makes me really question his character and decision making. Such a classless, immature move. There is no denying that. None. He does seem to be remorseful about it. I do think we've all done. You know what's funny? How many of us had class at 22, 23? I mean, look, I was raised better than to spit on somebody. That's wrong. But I think class, Toxic, might be a bit much at 22, 23, whatever, right? I damn sure wasn't classy. Any of y'all classy at 22, 23? But, yeah, hallelujah. I don't even want to talk to y'all about what I was doing at 22, 23, whatever, how old he is. But I feel you. That's a big no-no. However, from all the reports, he does seem to. Nah, people. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Look, see, spitting's out of there. We don't do that. I'm just using the term he's saying. Like, that's classless. Like, it is, but I don't want to. No 22, 23-year-old is like. Nah, I should say no. But that's not a word I would use. You know what I mean? Immature, though. I feel you on the immature part. 100%. He sounds like a kid, though, that understands his wrongdoings, loves the game of football, passionate about the game of football. And we're going to find out just how much. He is a dog, though. He is a dog, though. Spitting aside, he has that mentality. And I do think, listening to Tayan Holden, he's a player that does the dirty work. I label him as like a gritty player. He is going to push the incumbents, and the incumbents being Jaylen Brooks and Ryan Flournoy. He is going to push those dudes from a mental standpoint. My man came in here and said, I'm not here to just get along and go along. I'm here to take somebody's spot. And if we're talking about wide receiver 6, that is up for grabs, ladies and gentlemen. That is up for grabs. Maybe there's a pole position. And I don't even think that I don't even think there's anybody in the league per se. I think you have incumbents. I think you have young veteran guys that have been here going into third years and whatnot. But if they're going to go 6, I think that is a real competition. Y'all, look, we're reviewing the room, but you know how I feel. Talk to me about what's happening at the top and middle of the roster in camp. But I'm not going to act like there won't be bottom roster battles. And this one right here, we don't talk about it because wide receiver 6 is not going to have a major impact on the team if there's a 6. But this is a legitimate battle. Maybe one of those battles that is more open than any. You know what I mean? What's good, basement boys? Cowboys hard hitter said, I think he makes a 53. Again, I ask it. Maybe I should have put in a poll. If you ask a lot of Cowboys fans, I truly do believe they believe that Tayan Holden, out of these three, makes his team. And honestly, I wouldn't even fight you because the whole room, there's nothing that really makes me want to fight for it. You could pick any of these dudes and I ain't gonna fight you. Maybe Paris Campbell, but other than that, it's like, hey man, look, who has the best advantage? And right now, I think Tayan Holden's advantage is Junior Adams. Shouts out to CFT Rome in the building. Ooh, that net. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold up. Hold the phone, Rome. Hold the phone. Rome just said, I think Holden can get to 3 or 4 by year's end. Big dog, you gotta talk to me, Rome. You gotta talk to me. You think he can get the Let me say this, Rome. If Holden gets to 3, something really bad happened in that room. If he gets to 4, probably an injury. Maybe. And then he took advantage of that. But that's a big jump, man, for a rookie who's not going to get a lot of time with QB1. Think about it, Ron. Something bad has to happen for Holden to go from 6 to 3. Right? And I don't mean to be a pessimist about the situation. But that's a huge jump, man. Especially if we want to get to where we want to, or if we want to be where we want to be in this room. If we want this wide receiver room to be monstrous, I don't think that can happen. I don't think that can happen. Let's keep going, man. Let's talk about Jaylen Brooks here. I do think he can push Jaylen Brooks. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. So my expectations, I don't have a lot for Holden, but I do expect him to push the incumbents like a Jaylen Brooks, who is coming into his 3rd year. He had a golden opportunity last year. I talked to you guys about this a lot. It felt like to me, he lost confidence after that Saints game. He started to get it back a little bit towards the end. I shouldn't say towards the end, but I noticed it after that, during that Saints game, to be honest. And look, when you fall and trip and you cause an interception like that, yeah, you're not going to get targeted much more by QB1 after that. But he had a golden opportunity when Cooks went down. I don't necessarily think he took advantage of it, but he was a primary figure on special teams. His targets went up last year. He had like 6 his rookie year to 30. But he was, man, when QBs targeted Jaylen Brooks last year, was not good. Had a 43 passer rating when targeted. That was 2nd worst on the team. Nothing really stands out about Jaylen Brooks' game. Nothing. But he's a worker. So I do think he will be good for camp and he will be good for preseason. And what he has is he has been around for a few years, and he has some chemistry, I should say, with QB1. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though. I don't. Again, when we talk about expectations, they aren't high for Brooks either. And honestly, I would prioritize developing some of these other guys down the roster. Now, look, he go out here in camp and in preseason, and he takes a massive year 3 jump, and these other guys don't show out, then yeah, you have no choice but to make that decision on Brooks. But if it's nothing spectacular from a growth standpoint, and there's something with the other guys, I personally would prioritize the Holdens or the Flournoys over Jaylen Brooks. The kid's a hard worker. The kid's been around the building, the facility. This is his 3rd camp. I don't think he's going to go into camp with any jitters or anything like that. He's going to be comfortable, and he'll probably look comfortable. He'll make some good catches. We'll see the Jaylen Brooks jump ball at camp videos. We'll see him have probably some good plays in preseason, no doubt about it. I think it'll have to be more than just highlight plays for me to prioritize him. But the thing he has going for him, the two things he has going for him that these other guys do not, is this is his third year with the team. He has a season where he's played and received some targets from QB1 in real game action, and he's played a ton of special teams. He's over, I think, 200 snaps in special teams. So, again, none of these guys I'm completely ruling out for wide receiver 6. But if you ask me, my hope would be that some of these other dudes show a little bit more so I can develop them. Because I think there's more to their game than a Jaylen Brooks. JR said Brooks is a Tamu Terrence Williams. I don't know, man. Terrence Williams was pretty damn productive and reliable. He's a body catcher like a mug, but T. Will was clutch. He was definitely faster than Jaylen Brooks. He showed up. I don't know, man. T. Will had a good career here in Dallas. I like T. Will. I think he was one of the more underrated. He was a 2, obviously, right? Could we have asked for a better, more talented 2? Sure. Had he ever been given an opportunity to be in that Tolbert role, now be in that Cedric Wilson role, I think he would have thrived in it. But as a 2, I think he did well, man. Toxic saying he got out of bounds. We can't hold week 1 of 2016 against T. Will, man. His whole career. But yeah, I feel you. That was a boneheaded play. That was a boneheaded play. D Park said Brooks isn't my cup of tea. Yeah, I don't think Brooks is anybody's, right? Again, hardworking dude, plays special teams, but there's nothing about his game that stands out. Nothing about his game to me that stands out. And then to conclude this wide receiver 6 battle, and I'm gonna talk to y'all about it a little bit more. Ryan Flournoy, who was the flavor of the month last year, right? You could argue Flo might be the most or one of the most physically gifted athletes in the wide receiver room or the team, whatever. Just, 6'2", 200 plus, 4'4", proportionate well from a physical standpoint. He looks the part of a receiver or just an athlete in general. Powerful guy, go up and grab it, all that type of stuff. He's got the physical aspects of a wide receiver that can make a name for himself in this league. Before Brandon Cooks went down, he really didn't play much at all. In fact, I want to say Flournoy was inactive. Then Cooks goes down and he gets his shot to get in there. Now, where he played primarily on game day was, again, special teams. That's what's going to happen with these guys at the bottom of the roster. If they do carry 6, are going to have to play special teams. So it's good that he showcased he can do that. He had over 130 snaps as a special teams player. Not a lot of targets, only 14 on the year, 102 yards, 10 receptions. So at least he got some game action. I think most people are going to remember him for the fumble against the Lions. Not a good look, but hey, Rook, it happens. Flo's going to have to show, I think, a jump here year 2. He's going to have to show that. We talk a lot about sponsors, right? And I brought up, politics, just joking around with Tayan Holden. He the only one with a real sponsor here. Not Jaylen Brooks, not Flournoy, maybe Campbell because they signed him, but not really. So he got the benefit of the doubt last year because he was a draft pick, and you know how the Cowboys feel about their draft picks. They hardly ever cut their draft picks the same season they were drafted before the season starts. So if you want a cheat code, or at least in the past, if you want a cheat code and who makes this roster, Go look at the Cowboys draft over the last half decade or so and put all their asses on the team. That's just the way they've been moving because we are draft, develop, et cetera, et cetera. Last year, they threw a monkey wrench in things with Justin Rogers, but, it's come out. Maybe I see why they did that. However, McCarthy ain't here. That entire staff has turned over, right? That entire staff, except for Lunda Wells, who was in the tight end room. Junior Adams is here. Clayton Adams. Connor Riley. Underwood. That ain't your sponsor, bro. So he's going to have to make a year 2 jump. And I'm going to bring this back to what I said earlier, y'all. If none of these guys, if none of them show that type of jump, it is very possible they don't carry 6. I'm just not ruling that out yet. I think these guys will have to show something to make them worthy of being on the 56 or 53 or 46. The only thing they may have going for them is that there's a possibility only 1.5 of the guys above them will play special teams. In that case, then you have to go longer as, say, linebacker or defensive back. But that's a discussion for another day. We're going to talk roster gymnastics sometime during camp. So now we're really going to poll y'all here. Cowboys Nation, wide receiver 6 battle. Who wins it? Give me your answers here in the chat. Shaq, the Vikings fan in the building. What's goody? D Park said everything brand new. Yeah, man. I will say this, and we're going to get into more of we're going to talk more scheme here in a second, but I think from a scheme standpoint, if he does develop confidence, I think a Ryan Flournoy could be pretty solid scheme fit, getting him on the move. I call these guys move players, these type of guys. Bigger bodies, 4-4 type dudes, not necessarily quick, footed in the sense of route guys, but you get their momentum, their big body momentum's moving across the field, or get them to rock right now, make a little DB tackle them. Yeah. Yeah. Who you got? Let's see here. Toxic says Brooks, special team deciding factor since City. Flo, Edgar Holden, TC says I hope Holden, Tino Holden, C Burleson, Flo, Ace Flournoy. Wow, this is everybody all over the place. You know what that means? We ain't got a wide receiver 6 just yet. We're figuring that thing out. B47 said Holden will probably beat out Ryan, but I'm a fan of him. Hard hitter is rooting for Holden. Appreciate it, Shaq. Brooks, because I'm a hater. Why you a hater, AZ? Flow 19, bring back TJ. What is TJ Vasher doing? Is he in UFL? Lavelle said Brooks can go. Oscar, this is a tough one. Yeah. And you know why it's tough? Because nobody is solidified in that sense. Is there a world, and I'm only asking this just to have the conversation here. Is there a world where Paris Campbell is sneaky? Is there a world where Paris Campbell is sneaky? And I'm just having the conversation. Y'all heard what I said about him earlier. I don't believe my expectations for Campbell are extremely low. If he makes the team, it would be a big surprise. Camo says, I hope not. Dre said, nope. A says they're not cutting Mingo. And Judah says Mingo's not getting cut. Man. So what if he does not improve? Do they just hit him with a Mingo? Your ankle hurt, right? Nah, coach, I'm fine. I said your ankle hurt. Because if Mingo is just like, but Brooks or Holden is showing out. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all talking Mingo. I'm thinking of Flournoy. My bad. Yeah, Mingo's not getting cut. I don't even know why we brought him. We ain't even talking about Mingo just quite yet. My bad. I read Mingo and I thought Flournoy because that's what we talking about. Y'all done threw me off. My bad. We'll get to Mingo here in a second. Apologies. I read that totally wrong. Totally wrong. No. Mingo's not getting cut. Where did that come from? Did somebody say Mingo's getting cut? You think they just traded a 4th round pick to cut the man? Come on. He gonna have to go out there and beat somebody up in the club or something. Anyway, gun to head, Sky, who you got? I hate to do it, man. Because this is not how it should be, but I think politics will prevail. But not necessarily a negative way. I think Tayan Holden gets this 6th spot. I think Tayan Holden gets the 6th spot. I think having Junior Adams here is massive. There's a huge chip on his shoulder. Not getting any guarantee. You hear it in how he talks. His skill, I don't think he has a particularly elite set of skills, but he was, I think, top 15 or 16 as a deep ball guy. I think I had that right. In the Big Ten, if you go watch his film, he does some of those gritty things you want from a dude playing that low on the roster. He's going to play special teams. These guys have to play special teams. He's going to hit somebody. He has the size to do it. He can block. He's a willing blocker. That's the thing about what's going to have to happen with this set of wide receivers. They're going to have to be willing blockers in this scheme. I don't think we got some Brandon Ayuk's on the team, but you got to be willing blockers here. So I'm going to go with Holden, but we're going to put a pin in that one. All right. Now, let's get to what I'm dubbing the Fab Five here. And this is where, after we break down these guys, I'm going to tell you why everybody's looking at this situation completely wrong, including myself initially. And the conversation or the thought stemmed from how we tend to look at our roster and our players. But if we look at it this way, this room has major potential here. Let's talk about this Fab Five. The Fab Five faction, because that's what I think this is. I think this is more of a faction than anything. And I want to start with the guy that I didn't realize we was talking about a couple minutes ago, Jonathan Mingo. I said this a few times over the last few weeks. To you guys, I said it on the collective. I said it with 2i, and I'll say it here again. He has to have the biggest chip on his shoulder in this entire room. Period. If you think about his journey to the Cowboys to where it has led to, I'd question if he didn't. I'd question if he wasn't pissed off and he didn't use that to make himself better and take advantage of the opportunity. You're talking about a guy who was drafted in the 2nd round, all right, to be a dude. The next year, they essentially take your replacement in the 1st round, who has a very similar set of skills. It's not like it was a completely different type of dude. It's a very similar guy. Then he gets his spot taken by an undrafted free agent rookie. Then he was traded to Dallas for a 4th round pick, only to play with Cooper Rush. So he wasn't going to get no momentum doing that. Then Dallas trades for another wide receiver. This time a real dude. All while he still has not scored a touchdown in the National Football League. If you're looking for a villain arc, right? We got the Fantastic Four. If you're looking for a villain arc, it has to be now for Mingo. It has to be now for Mingo. All of that, right? Not having success in Carolina, didn't work out as a second-round pick with the first team, having a UDFA take your spot, coming here thinking, all right, fresh start, and you got to play with Cooper Rush, haven't hit pay dirt, take all. My Marvel fans, Black Panther, they gave him the new improved suit to absorb the energy and then use that energy as a weapon. Jonathan Mingo needs to use that energy as a weapon because he's not devoid of talent. Most of these players are not. He's a size guy, speed guy, power guy. I don't know him. I did not cover the Panthers. If I had to guess, I'd imagine maybe some confidence issues there. Again, this is just a flat out guess. Maybe some confidence issues because doing the research when we got him in an off season now, it sounds like Panther fans were just like, dude just was not good. He just was not good in Carolina. And I tried, okay, you know me, context matters, right? Like why? So now why? Because it's not like he wasn't good in college. So why wasn't he good in the pros or hasn't been good in the pros? Well, Sky is Carolina. It's fair. Well, why did Jalen Coker in his rookie year play well? And it's not like they casted him aside. It'd be one thing if, I bet, we got a new coaching staff. We got a new coaching staff. We are going to bench Jonathan Mingo. It's not what happened. Jonathan Mingo was one of the most targeted wide receivers on that team in the first 5 weeks of the season. I want to say behind Adam Thielen, maybe. So they tried to get him going with the new coaching staff. Didn't work out. Didn't work out his rookie year or second year, unfortunately. When he was targeted there, 42 or 43 rating. And they tried to use him in ways that I actually think the Cowboys should probably use him here. And that's get him the ball right away. Over routes, allow screen game, allow him to get upfield. It just didn't work out. So you hope that change of scenery, using that chip on your shoulder, he absorbs all of that energy and he uses it to not only improve him, but improve this room. Because I said it many times here. If all of these dudes level up because George Pickens gets dropped into this room and he restores order, y'all, that changes everything. That changes everything. So I think he just needs some confidence. I think he just needs to just build some momentum. And from the sounds of it in OTAs, or not OTAs, but minicamp, he started to do that. Like minicamp, he got a chance to close it out with some momentum. Now he just has to carry the momentum into training camp, into the preseason. Because y'all, he, like you said earlier, he ain't going nowhere. He's going to be on this team. Now I just got to find a spot for him. Again, stick around because I'm going to talk about how this room should be viewed and why it's not being viewed in this manner. So Jonathan Mingo, let me talk to y'all in the chat. He's been a hot topic, right? Ever since he's been traded. Willie said, Mingo, just stay ready, bro. That's all I will say. Honestly, that might be the most simplest advice, but most efficient advice. Hey, dog, just stay ready. Just stay ready. Whether that's with Dak, whether that's with the backups, whether that's in the regular season, injuries happen. Somebody gets tired. You got to go in. Just stay ready. I think that's very sound advice right there. I like that. We got to talk about with Jonathan Mingo. Mel said, I know how to use Mingo. Get water, get snacks, and carry helmets. God damn, Mel. Hard hitter city. Mingo hasn't had a QB since he entered the league, I think, Sky. Fair. But did Jalen Coker? Right? I can't just completely put that on everything. Did the one guy we're going to talk about here in a second, George Pickens? You know what I mean? So that is fair. Absolutely did not have some amazing quarterback throwing him the ball, but I wanted to be thorough in the research because, you know, I knew Jalen Coker took his spot, but I was like, how good did Jalen Coker play? Like, how well did he play? He was way better. It wasn't even close. And I think maybe, again, when you see that you're starting to fall down on the roster, that has to affect your mental. But it sounds like, and go listen to Adam Thielen talk about him, this kid stayed professional. He showed up. He continued to work. And again, not devoid of talent. So I don't see him checking out or anything like that. Nah, not at all. It sounds like actually he's competing. But it is fair. He didn't have a quarterback there. But once again, I asked, did Jalen Coker? It don't matter if he wasn't playing the role, Vic. He had the same quarterback. The same quarterback. What role would you have liked Mingo to play to show better in Carolina? He just like that's the thing we got to stop doing, right? He wasn't good in Carolina, y'all. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that, man. That doesn't mean he can't be good here. That's all. And the only reason why I'm confident in saying that is, all right, we good? I thought I cut out here. Only reason why I'm confident in saying that because before I said this, I said, let me go and actually watch even more thoroughly. I mean, obviously we did when we drafted him, did more in the regular season, but even for prep, I just wanted to make sure, like, okay, I get why it's not a coincidence why they drafted now their second or third first round wide receiver, had a UDFA take his spot and then moved him. It just didn't work out. Just didn't work out. Sure, they're not built the same. They're not the same, Vic. But again, a receiver is a receiver. What's your job to go out there and do? Get open, catch the rock, make plays. And I personally think Canales try to use him again in a manner that I think he could be used here. And that's the thing. Here's another thing that can help him out. He ain't in this room. Oh, I'm sorry. He wasn't in this room in Carolina. See, Jonathan Mingo was drafted to be the dude. Jonathan Mingo don't got to be the dude here, man. He don't got to be the dude here. George Pickens, he made everybody fall in line. He is going to be good for all of these guys, Jaylen Tolbert, Kavontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo, because they don't have that pressure to be the guy. And Mingo also he's a high character guy. That's another reason why I like him in this as the room filled out. This is a high character guy with talent. I don't see why he can't, continue to get better. How much better? Again, that's up to the player. I say it to you guys all the time. But I do think the Mingo conversation is fascinating because this ain't a dude that don't have some type of talent. Kavontae Turpin. Man. Been trying to get Kavontae Turpin the ball a little bit more for since he been here. Turp signed a 3-year, $18 million deal. And, look, it's 3 years, $18 million is not some outrageous money. I did see a tweet or a post or whatever you want to call it, where somebody said Kavontae Turpin is the highest paid special teams player in the league. Technical foul. You get a tech for that. Because first of all, he is, my opinion, he's more than just a special. Yes, is he the best return man in the league? I think so. Yeah, sure. Is that probably why he got a big deal? Sure. But please don't ignore that Kavontae Turpin can actually be a weapon on offense. Please. Because that's what the Cowboys did for half the damn year, excuse me. They ignored that. They do something like this and be like, we'll revisit this in week 14. I've been saying this for what, 2 years now? Better part of 2 years? Almost called him Jonathan Turpin. Kavontae Turpin needs to be a part of the game plan every single week. He needs to be a part of the game plan every single week. And here's what I mean. Look, I think that Tolbert and Mingo, they're more traditional wide receiver threes, right? Can fill in on the outside, finish those leftovers that Lamb and Pickens are going to give you because they're Lamb and Pickens. But they're not guys you game plan for, right? Offensively. They're not guys you're trying to deliberately get involved. Kavontae Turpin is. And you might be saying, why the hell are you showing me Tutu Atwell highlights? Because that's who I think he could be in this offense from a receiving standpoint. But the emphasis on deliberately getting him involved is something that I am really eager to see be consistent. Because that wasn't a consistent thing. Really, his first, what is he going into, his fourth year? It wasn't. Now, word coming out of OTAs and minicamp is that it's been an encouraging thing right now, which again, kind of got to be like, let me see it when we get to the season. Because we have heard this a little bit before, but here's why I'm more confident that he will be. Because Shoddy openly and passionately talks about ways that he's going to use these weapons on offense and really the philosophy. And I think it fits what Turpin can be. But the encouraging part coming out of camp is we're seeing him lined up in the backfield. We're seeing him used in motions. We're seeing him in that exit push, getting him momentum into the routes. Saw a couple plays he's getting hit with over routes. The ways I think that you should capitalize on using him from a receiving standpoint or weapon standpoint, it sounds like they're using him. So when I look at him, and I said this to you guys before, and I think I'm just going to stick with the term X factor as opposed to gadget guy, because I still don't think, I think if you say gadget player, I think it's a negative connotation. He is the ultimate X factor. The ultimate. Special teams ace. Best return man in the league. Can line up in the backfield. Run the route. Can catch the ball out the backfield. Jet sweep guy. Whip route guy. Tunnel screen guy. The occasional downfield guy. Over routes. Wide receiver things. Game-changing speed. Dude ran the fastest. He had the fastest play in the National Football League last year. He's not a traditional wide receiver 3. He's not. He doesn't need to be used as a traditional wide receiver 3. But he damn sure needs to be used as a weapon. And the beautiful thing about Kavontae Turpin, he can be a low volume, high impact guy. I said that about Jaden Blue. Turpin don't need 8-9 touches a game to hit pay dirt or get an explosive play, but he damn sure need more than 2. So I'm begging the staff, and honestly, I probably don't have to, because I have this, I don't know, man. I just have this calm feel that Kavontae Turpin will be involved each week. And maybe there might be some weeks where, hey, man, this doesn't work or whatever. But I truly do believe Kavontae Turpin, his skill set, this new scheme, Shoddy's, I think, ability to get these weapons the ball in advantageous situations, I feel good about it, man. But he is the ultimate X factor, dog. Toxic says that Devin Hester role. Yeah, I mean, sure. He Hall of Famer, big dog. but I see what you're saying. Yeah. Vic said I hated seeing Turpin make a big play and then bam, not on the field. Defense is probably saying, thank God he's not out there. There's a play in these highlights. Again, I ain't playing. That San Francisco 49er play where he motions across field right here. This was last year. Stacks, doesn't get pressed in line of scrimmage, single high safety, runs by a guy. I said, let me go see how many more times they did that right after that. None. I don't mean throughout the whole year because I won about 2-3 games and I said, how come I ain't see this again? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think when Turp was here, when Turp was brought in, this was still, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. Turp got here in 22. Kellen was here. And Kellen, look, y'all know how I feel about Kellen Moore. I'm about to sit here and big up no damn Kellen Moore. But Kellen Moore did more in regards to personnel sets and using, different looks or whatever, right? Mike McCarthy, if it was this West Coast ass offense, he would have never brought in no damn Kavontae. He don't fit the West Coast offense for real. So I think if it was up to Mike, I think he would have passed. Or they would have just said, dog, you just playing special team. I'm not putting you out there on the field, I think he would have passed. Vic said, not saying he's Puka or Cup, but Stafford spams the ball to them because it works. Do what works. I love that you said that about Cooper and Cup because I said this same thing months ago when reviewing the room. I said, bro, he doesn't have to get 100-something targets. The reason why I comped him to Tutu Atwell, I get it, their size, yes, sure. But also their roles. Tutu Atwell was a guy that had a lot of plays in motion. He was that guy that did a lot of the pre-snap motion, at-snap action stuff, didn't have him up on line of scrimmage to get pressed, had him stacked, had him using his momentum because he put the fear of God from a speed standpoint in the cornerbacks and the safeties, etc. You had to respect that. You think they just kept taking Tutu Atwell off the field? No, he played a good bit. Was he always targeted? No, but what he does is he says, okay, he makes the defense say, all right, look, I know Puka right there. Puka not going to run by me for real. But that dude over there can. Let me hedge a little bit. Just that slight angle may give Puka an extra or a better window. May give Cooper Kupp a better window. Robinson a one-on-one. He's an X factor, man. He's an X factor. And I hope they really see that in him. And I think they do in the way that they're using him right now. And here's what's cool about him compared to Tutu Atwell. Like, I will compare them as receivers, even though I think Tutu is a more sound, rounded, whatever receiver. But where he best Atwell is that, well, he can't do the backfield stuff that Turp can. Turp runs with no fear. He plays with no fear. When you're little like that, you got to play like that, You got to have a Mighty Mouse type of mentality. Trust me, I know. You got to be a little crazy, big dog. Trust me, I know. Toxic said, the more I hear about McCarthy, the less I like about him. Yeah. I ain't going to do that. We ain't going to go backwards. Matt said Mingo's going to be killer on his team. Hey man, look, if he can be an assassin from time to time, I'm cool with it. But here's the thing, we don't really need him to be. We don't really need him to be. All right, the last of the guys who round out the Fab Five, because we got the top two in Lamb and Pickens, is Jalen Tolbert. Going into his fourth year, I had this thought yesterday that I haven't really said publicly, but outside of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I think Tolbert is the safest pure wide receiver in the room. Not the most talented. Unfortunately, probably is the most accomplished. Now I'm thinking about the rest of the room, but not the guy that jumps the highest, runs the fastest, but the safest, pure wide receiver in the room. Meaning, this is a guy that's improved the last 3 years, right? Or each year, let me say that. He's got legitimate, real chemistry with QB1. He's got production with QB1 and the backup quarterback. He's trusted by this staff and the quarterback. He's coming off a productive year. So this isn't a guy still searching for his floor / ceiling, right? His trajectory is technically pointing up. His confidence is pointing up. And that's big because we know when Jalen Tolbert didn't have confidence, he didn't play well, admittedly. So that's what I mean by safest. If you only had to use 3 wide receivers, like pure wide receivers, because something happened to the other guys, Tolbert's safe. He's going to be where I need him to be. He's trusted by the Q. He's trusted by the staff. And he's shown that even with the backup, he can go out there and he can be a guy, surprisingly, that can finish in the top 3 in red zone touchdowns from receiver standpoint. And not only just that, because I said this before, it's not just, he's just wide open here. It's really the nuances and the details that you can tell that this kid has improved. Now, he's not done. Neither are any of these guys in the room. They're all, maybe except Pickens and Lamb, but they're all flawed in a certain aspect. And his flaws in his game would be blocking, right? He's not a blocker. That's not what you're going to put him out there to do. But be willing. He's willing. He just ain't great at it. Want to see him deal with the press better. But when it gets down there, when it comes to third downs, fourth downs, red zone, scramble drills, Tolbert's been a pretty damn good receiver for you the last 2 years. Pretty damn good. Gets a lot of flack. I don't really get it. I'm not going to really pay it too much attention anymore. It was fun before I viewed things differently. But he's a safe wide receiver. Believe it or not, Cowboys Nation, he was your highest rated wide receiver when targeted last year. I believe 111 quarterback rating. Number 1 on the team. But there's people that say trade him, get rid of him, cut him, whatever. I don't get it. But let's say worst case scenario, right? I only say worst case. I don't want to use that term. But let's say, hey, Tolbert loses the wide receiver 3 battle out of pure competition. Not because somebody was bad, he was terrible. Out of pure competition. Yes, y'all know I say this a lot. That actually would be amazing. But let's say he loses the wide receiver 3 battle. Having him on the team, in the room, whether it's 4 or 5, whatever the hell you want to call it, gives you a proven quality depth guy behind Lamb and Pickens that really isn't in the room. You understand what I'm saying? Tayan Mingo's not proven just yet. We're hoping that happens this year. Tayan Holden's not proven. Flournoy's not proven. Brooks is not proven. Campbell has proven he can't really be a guy for you. Jalen Tolbert gives you that, even if he loses wide receiver 3. So I don't really get the discourse here. I said this to you guys many a times. Look around the league. There are wide receiver 3 is littered with the Jalen Tolberts of the world. Is anybody looking at Yosivash as this amazing guy? Is anybody looking at Tutu and Robinson and Osborne? And no. Nobody is saying this is some Pro Bowl, whatever. But if you gonna give me 500, 600, 6, 7 touchdowns, top 5, 3 in the league in red zone as my wide receiver 3, the hell am I complaining about? What am I trying to push you off the roster for? If you've improved each year, pretty much across the board, whether it be trust with the team and quarterback, whether it be your route running, statistically, taking advantage of a situation, being productive with a backup quarterback, the hell am I trying to kick you off the bridge for? I don't get it. I don't get it. Again, honestly, the discourse with him and Mingo is what kind of drove me to this new thought process of this room and why everybody looking at this thing wrong. We almost there. I'm sorry. We almost through. My bad. I'm talking too much, but I do think this room is fascinating. George Pickens. This is the guy that ties a bow around this whole goddamn thing. Thank you, football gods, for the Cowboys getting George Pickens. Conversation completely different about Jonathan Mingo and Jalen Tolbert if George Pickens is not here. Completely different. You really couldn't ask for a better complimentary piece to CeeDee Lamb than George Pickens, man. You couldn't. I'm getting fired up again. Let me calm down. Because when this thing happened, man, I know a lot of people were character this and character that, and rightfully so. I had to go look. Hey, let me make sure this. You go look at the character thing and like, oh, this dude just want to win. He just wants to win. Did he check out a time or two? Yeah, you don't like that. That's maturity. Hey, you gotta mature, right? Man, when Duckworth is throwing you the rock, though, what's my man's name? Trubisky is y'all know these wide receivers is divas, man. But nah, I'm not going to condone that behavior. But man, Duckworth throw me the ball. I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields told me, bro. Matt Canada is my coordinator. Arthur Smith. He had some success with Russ, but man, Russ got one ball, and that's that moon ball, and it's a damn good one. What's his name? Did I say his name wrong? I swore his last name was Duckworth. Y'all know I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly that quarterback I'm talking about. Don't act like y'all don't. All that aside, George Pickens a motherfucking dog. George Pickens. Hey, look, man. Are there still people questioning this thing, man? Oh, Hodges. Is it Hodges? I thought it was Duckworth. I don't know. I thought it was Duckworth. His talent, man, is so undeniable, man. It's so undeniable. And you got people that just trying to pick and pry. Oh, well, he doesn't separate. Oh, well, he gets mad on the field. Oh, man. Good. Get mad. Guess what? Don't really need him himself. And you know what? We'll get to this in a second. The separation thing, dog. If George Pickens is one-on-one, if he's even, I'm leaving. I don't even care if he even. He went to the sideline on one play and said, what'd he say? Just put it in the sky, bro. Just put it in the sky. And this is what he means by that. Since coming into the league, George Pickens is only only behind Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill in vertical route yards. So he is third since coming in the league. Mind you, with Trubisky, Duckworth, and Justin Fields and Russell Simmons throwing him. I'm sorry. Russ throwing him the ball. Seriously, these are the type of quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Third, not Dak Prescott, who, by the way, happens to be first in yards the last 2 years in throwing go route passes, who happens to be second in attempts over the last 2 years in throwing the go route ball. That's why this fit to me is perfect. But here's the thing though. It's really not just this aspect of it. And I talked about this in the video. If you guys have not checked that video out, it was a while ago, like right after we got George Pickens. Here's why I think, man, this all fits and it really ties in. We can go ahead and tie this thing into CeeDee Lamb. Okay, because we know CeeDee Lamb. We don't really got to break CeeDee down. The dude's it's CeeDee Lamb. But here's where this thing ties in. Throughout George Pickens' career, he has been utilized and thriving as a boundary weapon, right? Outside the numbers, deep guy type weapon, right? Lamb, for a multitude of different reasons, has thrived in the middle of the field. Not that either can't do the other thing, especially Lamb, who we've seen him be deadly no matter really where he lines up. However, when you go look at just the historical data, right? Like where their strengths have been historically, George Pickens only has 69 targets throughout his career in that middle of the field. CeeDee Lamb had 80 targets alone in 2023. Most of his damage in regards to Pickens is done on the boundary. Not that he can't, right? Like, I mean, you've seen the play. You've seen what he did to Cincinnati. Doesn't mean he can't go out there and eat against those type of routes. But again, we're talking about superpowers. We're talking about strengths. We're talking about making sure that the defense has to cover every blade of grass, both vertically and horizontally. That's why, to me, I mean, this dude is just, I mean, he's just so good. He's just ridiculously talented. But the usage really puts this thing together. You're not getting a guy who's going to overlap the strengths of your number one. You're not getting a guy who's going to clog up the area of the field. But you're also getting a guy who can, all right, they may be sitting on CeeDee Lamb going deep. I'm sorry, Pickens going deep. We're going to send Pickens on that overall. Bow! Hit you for an 80-yard tutty because you saw what he did against Cincinnati. Whoo! That cut right there is so goddamn crazy, bro. That's the aspect of his game that they sleeping on too. He can get some yak on your ass. Man, I'm so mad people really was just tripping about this, man. Either way, George Pickens ties this whole thing together. The reason why you can go from question marks to answers in this wide receiver room is because GP gives it to you. GP, are you with me? He gives it to you. Now, Sky, you've been talking about why people are looking at this thing wrong. I've seen it done in here. We've all been a part of it. This group can be maximized, y'all. This group can be maximized. And you might be saying, yeah, it's up to Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you why it ain't up to Dak Prescott. We've seen Dak ball with a worser group of receivers. We've seen him get these guys involved. We've seen him have success, different coordinators, different receivers, whatever. We know he's going to play well with these dudes. But it's going to be how they're viewed. We've been viewing this, pundits mostly, big wigs, whatever. You see these rankings, you talk about wide receiver duos. By the way, disrespectful as hell. Disrespecting George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I've seen some rankings of duos where GP was with, the Steelers and DK Metcalf. Oh, hey, this is a great 1-2 punch, man. The Steelers got a top. Then he comes to the Dallas Cowboys where CeeDee Lamb has been better, is better than both. And all of a sudden, it's not a top 10 wide receiver coach. That don't make no sense. But I don't care. I mean, I kind of do, is why I'm bringing it up. But I don't at the end of the day. We have to stop viewing this as a tag team. Got to stop viewing it as a tag team. We got to start looking at this thing like a faction. Y'all know I love my wrestling, right? Y'all know I love my wrestling. Sometimes I tie things into wrestling. And sure, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens can be the Road Warriors. They can be Harlem Heat. They can be, the Dudley Boys, all-time great tag teams. But when you look in this room and the specific set of skills, the complementary set of skills, the scheme, you want this to be a faction. This needs to be more than a tag team. It needs to be looked at as a faction and executed in that way. One of the greatest factions of all time. D-Generation X. DX started out with their top two guys, right? Shawn Michaels, Triple H. They changed really what WWF became. They, in a way, ushered in the Attitude Era along with Stone Cold, etc. But just speaking to them too. And sure, China was with them and Rick Rude, whatever, but it's Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels and Triple H. But the peak of DX, the peak was when they added X-Pac, when they added the New Age Outlaws. That was the peak. And if the Cowboys, and if us as fans can view this room as more than just a tag team and view them as a faction, and if we execute it that way, that changes things completely. Are you ready? Yeah. You've got the top two guys in CD and GP. But you also got the X Factor in X-Pac. Right? GP's definitely more Shawn Michaels because they a little loose up there in the head. They a little crazy. Triple H controlled the whole thing, though. Once Shawn left. X-Pac was an X Factor, though. Cruiserweight guy, European champion, Intercontinental, things like that. But then you bring in the New Age Outlaws. Do the dirty work. Win the tag team titles. For months, we've been fighting. Mingo, Tolbert. Damn it, work together. Work together. Tag team this thing. There's going to be times, whether it's injury, whether it's somebody's tired, whether it's a specific game. Hey, man, it might be Mingo's time to shine. It might be Tolbert's time to shine. Maybe we get to a point in the game where they can't stop us running and we just want to put our big bodies out there to block. Go ahead in there, Mingo. Maybe there's a situation where they got this small, slot guy and we want to use Mingo as a big slot. Go ahead. Maybe it's a situation where Tolbert has been thriving, improving or whatever, and routing up or whatever you want to call it. The cornerback 2, 3, whomever. And Tolbert's routing them up and killing and being productive. Then go ahead, Tolbert, do your thing. My bad, Ferg. My bad, Ferg. But the reason why I put Ferg in here, because you can't rule Ferg out in this thing either. Okay? You can't rule Ferg out in this thing either, because he is just as much a part of the passing game as they are, just in a different capacity, which also plays into the George Pickens stretching the field, opening things up in the middle for AJ Ferguson. We have been looking at this thing as a tag team to the point we have been pitting the players against each other. I've heard, oh, this guy's going to be better than Ferg. Oh, we need to get rid of this guy. Jonathan Mingo's this guy. Tolbert needs to be. For what? What my man say? Mother, for what? Why are we doing that? You're going to need all of these dudes. But I just think it's a thing that we've become accustomed to here as Cowboy fans, and maybe over the last 3 years, because the room hasn't looked like this, right? It's been a while. It's been really since 2020, going into 2021. Yes, going into 2021, where that might have been the last time we was all fighting. Because you know why? CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and the last time you saw peak Michael Gallup. Since then, we've been conditioned to have to fight. Hey, man, James Washington's going to, and then it's Houston, and then it's Asher, and who was the other guy? Noah Brown. We don't got to fight no more, y'all. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb is going to carry the majority of this passing game. They're going to carry it. We just need them boys to stay healthy. Everybody else just has to play their role in the faction. We got to work together. And I'm hoping that is how the staff sees it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that's how shoddy Clayton Adams sees this thing. We don't need to force Mingo and Tolbert into the. Let them get the leftovers. Pickens, Lamb, they will carry this passing game, and there will be so many opportunities for everybody else. And make sure that Turpin is your X Factor guy. I feel like if they view this thing as a faction, as opposed to a tag team like we have been doing for months, you can't tell me this wide receiver room cannot be extremely dangerous. You can't tell me it can't be. You might say, oh, well, some of these guys aren't top this, top that outside. Sure. Was Tutu Atwell? And I'm going to keep bringing up the Rams. I think that's what we're going to look. I truly do. Is that what Darius Robinson look like? I'd argue we got a better collective of weapons than them. I like my tight end better than theirs. I like my top two guys better than theirs. Yeah. Shouts out to you, Puka and Cup. I like my X Factor better than theirs. And they were prolific offensively. But it'll come down to the staff. Shouts out to Henny. He did the legwork. I was going to bring up this graphic. And this is why I say it comes down to staff, because this statistic is more of an indictment on the coaching than anything. But you go look at the Cowboys' separation statistic over the last 6 years or whatever, since 2018. These boys have just been terrible, right? The last 2 years, the Cowboys have ranked 31st in 23 and 24 in separation. Now, I'm not going to pin that all on the receivers because that to me is more of an indictment on scheme. How many times have we said over the years where is the conflict? Where is the easy buttons? Where is the scheme getting guys open? If my scheme is mostly reliant on you beating your guy to get open, I mean, outside of CeeDee Lamb for the last 2 or 3 years, not a lot of these guys are known for that. Right? That doesn't mean you can't have success in this league. Hell, like I said, Jalen Tolbert had 7 tutties last year. 600 yards. That's production. Was it consistent? Nah. It's production. Kavontae Turpin, super quick-footed. I wouldn't necessarily call Kavontae Turpin a boundary route you up type of guy, but he's a guy you do have to scheme. Nothing wrong with that. Just scheme it. Mingo's not a route guy, but he's a powerful guy. Get him the ball. At least in college, he showed that I make some plays. If the staff looks at these guys as a faction, the scheme then puts these guys in place to succeed. And this will be by year's end, if not now, because some people don't believe it, right? This will be one of the best group of weapons, pass catchers, whatever you want to call it. One of the most productive, let me say that, in the league, man. And, the reason why I say I'm very confidently this is the best wide receiver group in the NFC East. Go look. Who has been as productive as Jaylen Tolbert as wide receiver 3 in the rest of the NFC East? Who? I'll give you time. Go look. Whose arrow is pointing up as wide receiver 3 in the NFC East? Higher than Jaylen Tolbert's, or at least the trajectory. Who in the NFC East has an X factor like X-Pac and Kavontae Turpin? Go ahead. Go find it. Well, everybody's fascinated. Everybody's fascinated on the 1-2, on the tag team. They missing out on the faction. They missing out on the faction. So y'all want to, not y'all, but they want to argue about, hey man, the Cowboys ain't got a better 1-2 punch than Philly. Go ahead. We got a better wide receiver room though. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya. And I digress. Cowboy Nation, I appreciate y'all coming through on my long-winded review of the Cowboys wide receiver room. Please do me a favor if you enjoyed today's show. Hit this like button. If you're new here, you jumped in, it is the dead period. Probably not gonna get too many new people. But if you are and you like what you see, please subscribe to this thing. But most importantly, share this on Facebook and Twitter or X, whatever they want to call it now, all across your social medias, because there are a lot of people who are still not hip to this Cowboys morning show. And I know y'all, I haven't, I'm around more than I was prior to my hiatus. However, dead period, gonna try to give y'all some work each week as much as I can. Obviously, me and 2I are gonna come back next week. But season wise, man, I might tee this thing up 5 days a week. I might tee this thing up 5 days a week again. But either way, I would definitely be around much more during the season. Hell, probably during camp, this thing might go 4 or 5 days a week. So y'all make sure y'all stick around. Also, I keep forgetting to highlight this. I'm gonna put this in the description when I'm done here. I finally got the shows. I say keep forgetting. It's the first time I'm talking to you guys since I did this. I finally have the audio portions of the shows on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So for those who cannot watch live or cannot run it back on YouTube visually or don't have YouTube Premium, which, by the way, I don't mean to plug YouTube Premium right now. I went ahead, did the little trial run. I'm clicking on all the videos. I ain't getting no ads. I'm like, man, they get you. They really get you with all these damn apps. Man, YouTube Premium pretty cool, but I ain't gonna advertise them too much. If you don't like how it maybe drains your battery or you can't watch or whatever, you can listen. I am uploading as soon as we're done. I'm gonna upload this audio onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we're trying to get this thing going. I'm gonna do that throughout the football season as well. All right. Dre Maddox said premium is that hey dog. I was about to talk trash about like, man, I don't care about this free time, $10 or whatever it is. Shit. Hey, Camo said, once you go premium, there's no going back, bro. There's no going back. I ain't went back. You know, sometimes you do the trial runs and you don't realize when it's up, and next thing you know, bow, they smack you with that automatic draft. Looked on got the notification, YouTube Premium 10, whatever I said. Shit. If that's all it's gonna cost, fam, I'm good. It's a totally different vibe, bro. Totally different vibe. And then YouTube be getting tricky too. We in overtime, y'all. YouTube been getting tricky. There used to be my son put me on to this like last year, man. There used to be a way. I watch a lot of content and stuff on my TV as well, right? Used to be a way on the TV, click the button. I think you could do on your phone too. The information button and say it's either skip or go back or whatever. You ain't got to wait for the skip. You can say block ad and it goes right back to the video. They don't even let you do that no more. And then this is what they did. They snuck in, not skip, next. What you mean next? Well, give me skip. I ain't got to deal with it no more. Shouts out to YouTube Premium, bro. And you know what's crazy? Let me shit on our generation real quick, or technology. We ain't shit. We can't sit through 15 seconds. Oh, man. Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I appreciate y'all sticking with me for an hour and a half on today's show. I tried to keep it. We've been doing 2.5, 3 hours. So I try to keep it at least an hour and some change so we can get some run back ability. But if you missed it, man, we reviewed the wide receiver room. We talked about what I call the Fab Five faction. We talked about the wide receiver 6 battle. And we talked about why I think we need to view this room not as a tag team, not as Triple H and Shawn Michaels, but as a faction. It's a fun show. It's a fun show. Yeah, YouTube is tripping with the ass. They tripping with the ass, man. I will be back next week, like I said, y'all. Me and 2i. 2i is on vacation, so we took a little break this week. She just left, I think it was yesterday. Took a little break. We'll be back next week. We got a nice topic for y'all, and we'll probably open up some mailbags throughout. We're looking to get some guests as well. So I'm really, really trying to push that forward. We're in our preseason of the Sky and 2i show, because once we get into the regular season, that is going to be a staple of the program here. All right. So you'll still have my morning shows, but we'll also be dropping the Sky and 2i show throughout the week too. So I'm going to continue to pump that. If you haven't seen any of those episodes, go back and watch because actually they're rewatchable. The OTA episodes are rewatchable. We did an episode last week on Pass or Pay. That is also rewatchable. So there's some evergreen content right now. Once we get to training camp, then a whole batch of fresh content will come out. The whole community really is going to be jumping. I do think this George Pickens edition has rejuvenated Cowboys Nation a lot. Whether, look, again, there's other moves they need to make. There's things that need to be done, et cetera, et cetera. But there's no denying, as a football fan, that move was exciting. And I can't wait for camp, man. I can't. With that said, let me go take a look at some of these super chats. Don't want to miss those. By the way, shouts out to the Bomb Squad Insiders. I am about to look up. I say look up. I'm sounding like a damn boomer if I say this out loud, but it is what it is. Members only live stream. I'm gonna do a members only live stream here soon. Which the way I'm thinking about doing it is just having you guys. We're just gonna go on StreamYard. You guys can come in, and we'll actually rap video wise, whether it's your phone, whether you're at your computer, whatever you want to do. I think that'd be fun. Something to do for the members. Let's get to these super chats though. We are the 27. We are the nation. Bro, see, what is wrong? YouTube weird, but it's showing 26, but I know this was y'all today. DeMar and AA Ron, appreciate you. I'm sorry, Darnell and AA Ron. Darnell dropped 5 and said, Debo 5 pounds from being a tight end and fullback. Facts. Husky Debo. He also dropped 2 and said, Sky, any truth in said possibly coming back? Hold on now, Darnell. Hold on now. What my man say? You put too much dip on your chip. What are we talking about? All right. There's a rumor out there of Sad Wilson coming back. Didn't Sad sign with like the Saints or something? Look, I'm a Sad Wilson fan when he was here. Man, you talk about completing the room. You talking about wide receiver 6? There you go. There you go. And then AA Ron, I ain't pressed my button. Hold on.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, my 2 hot takes for this season. Now you about to start a whole new show. My 2 hot takes for this season. Mingo gets cut, traded, or phantom IR if everyone's healthy. Sam Williams traded by the deadline. God, and why did I wait to read this? Because I wanna box you on this one, man. Now, not really box you, but man, I would love to dive in on this more. Squad.
Should I get him? Should I get him?
I said.
Should I get him? Should I get him?
Get him. Why do you think Mingo getting cut? Traded for what? They ain't finna IR this man, dog. Man, hey, Ron, I want you to, because he's bad. Well, I can't argue that. If you think he just sucks, then you, I can't fight you on that if you just think he sucks. I thought there was something more behind it, but okay. Well, allow me to rebut here. If he's bad, he ain't getting traded. Okay? Why would somebody trade for a bad player? Unless you say, oh, the Cowboys is just stupid enough to do it. I mean, it could be. Cut. Nah, I don't see that. Phantom IR, though. I mean, so what you saying? You saying, nah, get out of here. Flournoy jumps him. Trayshawn jumps him. Jalen jumps him. Low yards per route run. Awful separation. I mean, nobody gets... don't do the separation thing. All right? Because our guy don't get separation either, right? I mean, like, I'm not trying to defend Mingo in that sense, but it ain't like Pickens to get a bunch of separation. The difference is he got superpowers. He don't really need to. Man, that's a whole little fight we could have, but I ain't gonna go into it. I just disagree. But it's a hot take for a reason. I think Mingo would have to be awful. And if he's awful, he ain't getting traded. You're not fanning my arm him. He would just be cut. He would just be cut. Can't see it happen. I don't think he'll be that awful. I don't think they're going to give up. He would have to be, put it this way, he'd have to be awful in camp and preseason. Think about that, Aaron. Think about that. Camp and preseason, he's going to be going up against backups in preseason. And in camp, he's going to have enough plays. They invested a 4th round pick. You know how this team is. That's how I take for sure. Now, the Sam Williams traded by the deadline. This is a real question because I don't remember. Who's the last Cowboys high profile? Because that's about as high profile you're going to get for the Cowboys making trades. Trading out in season. Who's the last guy to get traded in the middle of the season? Serious question. Who's the last guy to get traded in the middle? Like, with that type of pedigree to get traded in the middle of the season. I'm dead serious, y'all. I ain't trying to be sarcastic. I just don't remember. The second part of that, in order for you to trade, you got to have something that team wants. So, if Sam Williams is desirable, why the hell would you trade him? Right? Like, you need a group of rushers. And Sam Williams, if he is desirable, if a team wants him at the deadline, by the way, that means he's doing something, right? That means he's doing something. Why take a strength and lessen it? Hey, Aaron? Why? We seen Nealon get hurt last year. We seen Micah go down. We seen D-Law go down. We seen Sam Williams go down. Hell, we don't even know that. But first of all, shouts out to Marshawn Nealon. He's not a better pass rusher than Sam Williams. So, again, either you're stating Sam Williams is going to be bad, and if he's bad, why would a team want to trade for him? The only other thought you can say is, well, there's a change of scenery. Maybe he's upset. He's disgruntled. So we can look away from him being bad and we'll trade a 7th round pick for him or whatever. He'll look good. Hey, Ron, yeah, I'm glad I fought you on this. You think he gonna look good and they gonna get rid of him? Fam. Why do we do this? Now, why do we do this? Who cares if he on the last year of his deal? If he looked good on the last year of his deal, you're going to get a compensatory pick. You want to trade? If we are in the middle of a playoff situation, you want to trade a productive ass player for what? A 2026 5th round pick? 4th round pick? Get the hey, y'all, if you don't go and get hell my do-rag guy. Hold on, bro. Hold the hell on, man. You y'all think I'm playing a minute? Trade a good Sam Williams. I'll be there to put this ball back on. I hold on, where we at? There we go. Hold up, man. Y'all ain't gonna be messing with me, dog. Where we at? Where am I joining at? There we go. And where the middle at? God damn. Shit. The do-rag at. God damn. Ain't playing with me. Hold the hell up, bro. Trade a good Sam Williams. Shit. Trade a good. Yeah, okay. Shit. Okay. And I'm leaving the flap out. Shit. I'm OG with it. Nah, I'm gonna roll the flap up. I'm just playing with y'all. Ain't gonna put the flap out. This shit. What are you talking about? Hold up, D. Oh, did I say that out loud? Hold the hell up. Trade Sam Williams, a good Sam Williams, in the middle of a season where you fighting for your playoff lives. Motherfucker, for what? Who just called in here? Oh, hell. Y'all done pissed off Sonny. Hey, Sonny. Talk to this man, man.
Hey.
What's up with you, Sonny?
Hey, not much. Hey, I have a question. I keep missing other people's call-ins. But I got a question. You know, Michael Parsons wants to be the highest paid guy in the NFL.
You damn right he do.
Okay. Explain to me why. Why would you pay him that money?
What? Oh,
What's
yeah,
he
yo,
done
you,
that-
hey, yeah, bro, I'm glad I put this do-rag on. Excuse me?
I mean, has he won titles? Has he won Super Bowls? Has he won Defensive Player of the Year? Has he won the rushing? I mean, the most sacks?
Micah Parsons is one of the best players in the National Football League. You don't get paid off of winning Super Bowls and titles and all of that stuff. You get paid because you're one of the best at your position, and at that time, the market dictates that. There's no denying that Micah Parsons. Huh? What'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat that again. I had the damn TV up.
No, you got it, Sonny. You right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just give me a short thing of it. Why would you pay him?
Because
reason?
Micah Parsons is one of the best players in the National Football League. Point blank, period.
At doing what? I mean, has he
doing
won
what?
titles? Has he won sacks? What
you mean? He literally has the fourth most sacks in the history of the National Football League to start his career. In the history.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
What if he gets hurt this year? Does that change? Is there somebody?
No, that doesn't change anything. Injuries happen.
So by having that, you said predically he should be paid the most.
I don't give a damn what if it's the most, if it's the I don't care. Get his bag. That ain't my. I ain't worried about that. What does that have to do with anything? He's one of the best players in the National Football League. Paying Michael Parsons doesn't stop you from doing anything you want to do to build the roster, bro.
That's my kind of. I hear a lot of people disagree with that because they say, has he won titles? Has he won rushing? I mean, he hasn't won the most sacks. He doesn't. When it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, has he ever actually taken over a game and won a game in the playoffs for the Cowboys?
A defensive end doesn't win a game in the playoffs, number one. But has he taken over a game? No, he hasn't taken over a game. But has the Cowboys taken over a game outside of Tampa Bay? No. We're not about to sit here and act like Michael Parsons is the linchpin to winning a playoff game, man. A defensive end. As much as I love Michael Parsons, that's not how that works. Y'all want to bitch and moan and complain about the quarterback because he's the quarterback? Cool. But no defender, no one defender. How many playoff wins and takeovers has J.J. Watt had? How many T.J. Watt?
Exactly.
How many does T.J. Watt have? You're not going to pay the Watts?
Yeah, and he's gonna be,
you're not going to pay. You're not going to pay. You're not. What? T.J. Watt was. You're not going to pay Myles Garrett? He ain't got no Super Bowls. He ain't got no wins in the playoffs. Huh?
I heard some people said they would take Myles Garrett over Michael Parsons.
Whatever, that's fine. You're talking about two of the top
one
or two players. Who gives?
The Cowboys on one of your broadcasts.
Okay, who cares? Oh, yeah, look. That's fine. If he was on our team, I'd be happy too.
Well, I agree. I agree with you too. I just hear other people talk about it. I'm saying, I don't understand.
Oh, so this ain't your thought process? I thought you calling in here telling me why the hell would you pay Michael Parsons? My bad. I put the do-rag on, bro. I'm sorry. My bad.
No. I'm going by what other guys have said around the league. You know, I listen to other broadcasts and other shows and stuff. And I want, because of that.
Well, Sonny.
What's the name of Cleveland? What's he? He got paid pretty, and he was kind of hurt last year, wasn't he?
With all due respect to those other shows,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
Honey Bear, what you want me to say? What you want me to say? Sky's never going to criticize Micah. What the hell do you want me to say about a guy that has the fourth most sacks in the National Football League history to start his career? A three-time All-Pro. A guy who literally puts the fear of God in quarterbacks and defensive coordinators. He got to be better against the run.
Like Jamar Chase, right?
What the hell else you want me to say?
Yeah, I
That's
agree
your
with
damn
you.
problem
I
out
agree.
here, in my opinion, with some of these fans. And this is the
Yeah.
conversation I was having the other day. My bad, Sonny. Appreciate you calling in, brother. Appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry to bug you with that.
No,
I
no,
was
you ain't
I
bugging me,
just
dog.
wanted to answer why.
You ain't bugging me,
And
man.
I never really heard anybody really explain just what you said, but
When it's time to pay
know,
up
you
in
can say
Dallas,
that about
people
a
get
lot of
weird.
players.
When it's time to pay up in Dallas, people get weird.
yeah,
People get
it's
weird.
a weird time of the year.
People get weird. All right, man. Appreciate you, Sonny.
yeah.
Appreciate you, Sonny. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Thank
thank
you so
you.
Here's my problem I have with Cowboys Nation, man. Why is our ire focused on guys like a Micah Parsons? Micah Parsons is quite literally the least of the defense's problems in any capacity. The least. He could not get better for the rest of his life on the field and remain the same and will be a first ballot Hall of Fame player. But you want me to come over here and say, what about him? He got to be better against the run? Sure. I mean, everybody does. Everybody does. Now, if we're talking about breaking down game to game each week, that's what we do here. We're going, whether it's good or bad game for anybody, we will. But what you want me to say, Honey Bear, flat out, you say whatever criticism you want here. Say it. What you want me to say about a motherfucker who's a 3 or 4, whatever it is, all pro, 4th all time, and sacks to start his career. An absolute animal on the field where teams are scared when this guy plays. A versatile cat. What you want me to say? I'm not worried about that, dude. Can my defensive tackles be difference makers? Who the hell was opposite of Micah Parsons? What's going on with my damn linebackers? Is the cornerback room going to be able to cover? We got another defensive coordinator. How long is that going to take? I think I'm worried about the 3-time All-Pro. Man, get the fuck out of here, dog. Y'all tripping. Now, again, we come here, week 1, he has a terrible showing, or the Ravens game or whatever, and he's putting out bad film. Sure, we'll talk about that. But right now, in June 27th, what you want me to say? What you want me to critique? What you want? I don't even know if y'all want to say he's playing out of position. He played out of position and still a Hall of Famer, if that's the case. And that's not even a critique on the player. You're critiquing the coaching, the usage. What the hell you want me to say? I'm dead serious. All jokes aside, because I'm playing into the bit with the do-rag. That was fun. All jokes aside. Did I miss it, Honey Bear? I'm waiting for you to drop it. My bad, bro, if I missed it. I ain't leaving until you tell me. It's bad radio, but just tell me what you want me to say, man. And I'll agree or disagree. Oh, yeah, you got to do this, do that. But it ain't... We ain't talking about Mozzie Smith, my guy. I will lock up everyone else and pay Micah last. It says Skynet. Well, I'm not saying your name, bro. I will lock up Micah and pay everyone. What do you mean by that? Oh, I see what he's doing. He's slick. Y'all know, yeah, Sky is slick. Not me, that guy. He said I'm paying Pickens and Mingo first. Well, let's see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get me riled up. It ain't working. That's a troll post right there. We don't want to do troll posts. I think Honey Bear is genuine. He genuinely thinks that I don't criticize Micah Parsons. Although we do weekly film breakdowns, and if somebody bad, they bad, and we talk about it. I think any better player can get better, Mike included. That ain't criticism. That ain't criticism. Of course, everybody can get better. What do you want me to criticize about Micah Parsons? What about his game? Do you want me to come on here all the time and criticize about in June? What do you want me to criticize about? What do you want me to do? That Sky character tried to get me right there. Okay, CT, you won. You won the internet. Hey, Mikey, you my dog, but that hairline. Woo-wee. My man got on his ass last. What was it? The Fanatics. Lou, funny as hell. He said he got the George Jefferson. You right. But nah, man, that was fun. That was fun putting do-rag on mid-show. I'm keeping this thing on deck. Trade a healthy, productive Sam Williams. Hey, Ron, boy, if you don't go on get. Oh man, that was fun. A little overtime, man. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe on the way out. And Sonny, whoever the hell was telling you not to pay Micah Parsons, man, tell them we got 2 words for you. Yeah, let's let him walk. Let's let him walk and hope we can find another Hall of Famer. Hey, see, this is where I miss my guy, Brother L. For all my day ones, what do we need? What do we need? What do we need? This is all we need. And this foolishness will be done. Dre, chill out, bro. Chill out. We need a win. We need a win, man. Super Bowl win, Super Bowl run. We just need that. And then people could just stop with this foolishness, man. Love y'all. We out of here. Let me press this goddamn button. I done started a whole nother thing. Hey, appreciate you, AA Ron. You got another show.
What's the goddamn button?
You got another show out of me, man. You got another show out of me. Ooh, Dre, I see what you did there. Al Snow reference. I didn't think about that. What does everybody want? That's a good one. That's a good one. I might have to give me an Al Snow shirt. Appreciate y'all.